Howdy doody, my name is Susie, and today I thought I would share with you this video on how to make doggy diapers or doggy pants. And I think this is a really important video because I have been dealing with a pet who is now suffering from incontinence, and it's been extremely chaotic. It's very tiring. It's very frustrating for both you and the pet. So there's been a lot of carpet shampooing and floor washing and bed changing and so on and so on and so on. So it's been really, really challenging. And I wanted to share with you all the things that I've done to be able to manage a very challenging time in your pet's life. So I like to think of Chester as going through his golden years, and it's up to me to kind of help him transition and make him feel as comfortable as possible while making it as easy as I can on myself. If your dog is suffering from incontinence, if it's slight leaks or larger leaks, one thing that you can do is buy these doggy diapers, and that's exactly what I did. Now, I only bought one pack because they were $20 for 12, which is very, very expensive, especially if you've got a pet who is going to the bathroom constantly. You can go through these 12 diapers in 2 days, no problem. So the solution is to make a changeable dog diaper that you can add regular sanitary pad to it and change out the pad as opposed to the entire diaper, and it's way cheaper. So for instance, 12-pack doggy diapers, $20. And the sanitary pads, I'm buying 48 of them for $5. So that's a huge difference. They last much longer. So that's the first thing I'm going to show you, is how to make these doggy diapers. And they really are a game changer. So the first thing I did was I had bought the actual diapers. And a word of caution, I bought 2 different brands. The pet store assured me that I could return them if they didn't fit. And the reason that I mention this is that the manufacturer's guidelines in terms of size, and he's just under 40 pounds. So the recommended size for him, I brought it home and they were too small. I actually bought 2 different brands and they were both too small for him. So I had to jump up to a larger size. So that's the first rule of thumb and something that you should be aware of it. So I bought the diapers, I bought one size larger, and they actually fit. So what I did was I set out to make a pattern using the actual dog diaper. So all I did is I took the dog diaper and I opened it up, and I actually sacrificed one of the diapers in order to create a template so that I could create these little doggy diapers, or the reusable dog pants, dog diaper pants. But if you don't want to sacrifice the diaper, you can use thick corrugated cardboard and pin it to the cardboard stretched. You probably need a second pair of hands, and that way you can trace it out without actually having to use the diaper or waste a diaper, because they are expensive. So once I got my diaper, I just traced it on, this is just wrapping paper. You can use wrapping paper to create your pattern, or tissue paper if you're careful, because it's obviously very thin. There are a few alterations that I actually made. So I drew out my template exactly the way that the diaper was, but I did make some adjustments, and as you can see, this was the pattern. All I did was folded back the corners to create this shape. So this shape. So once I had my pattern, I actually folded it in half and I retraced it so that both sides are exactly the same. The other thing I did was I marked the hole for the tail. Tail hole exactly, and just cut my little circle. Now in terms of material, what I used, and you can certainly go and buy your material from the fabric store, but I took old outdoor jackets. I used some snowmobile pants for fabric for one of the diapers, and windbreakers, winter jackets, raincoats, any of those things you can recycle if they're damaged and they're being thrown away. Why not use them to make the diapers? I'm using raincoats or water repellent jackets, or even my snowmobile pants, is because one side is water resistant or waterproof. As you can see with this jacket, the inside is plastic, the outside is fabric. It's very soft. It won't allow the leaks to go through. And when you can cut it perfectly without it losing its thread or needing to be hemmed. The other thing that I did was, not only did I use the outside of some of the jackets, I also used the inside of the jacket. So for the inside, I used the liner. I even used the lining of a dress. But whatever it is that you use as your fabric for the inside, using a nylon or a polyester breathable fabric works great because it's soft on the inside against the animal's fur or hair. It's clean cut without it fraying. So there's no fraying involved. For male dogs, I actually added a little half moon to the end of the diaper. Like I said, these are sanitary pads, and you can get different lengths and thicknesses depending on the size of your dog. But you can see that when you lay it down, and for a male dog, I overlap it or extend it. This is the front, so it goes like this on the dog. But I overlapped it, and this is just going to catch any additional leaks. So just add a little bit of a dome to the end of my fabric. I'm just going to fold it in half and trim it out just to make sure it's the same on both sides. So now I've got my little half moon. So you can see I've just added this little half moon to the end of my pattern. And pin it, and then just pin it in place. I'm going to cut it. Now these, we're going to create some strips, long strips, and this is going to be the band around his back that's going to hold the pants in place. You want to draw that hole. You can take that circle and trace it so that you can see that on your fabric, but you're not going to cut it yet. You're not going to cut this hole until the very end. So now we've got half of our pattern, and what we want to do is we want to use the same pattern and cut out our lining. Now for this particular one, I didn't have enough fabric on the inside to fit the full length of my pattern. So all I did was I joined two pieces of fabric together, laid my pattern down, and then I was able to get my full piece, and it's just joined here. I'm gonna put the two good sides together, and you're going to pin just around the hole. Straight stitch right around that circle, which is why I've pinned it all the way around so it doesn't move. And now the first thing I did was I practiced doing different stitches based on this fabric. So I took a test piece of fabric and I did a straight stitch, marked down the settings, and then I did a zigzag stitch and marked down the settings as well. You're gonna have to play with the settings, the zigzag, the length of the stitch, and the tension. So for my machine, I've got it set on zigzag, number 2, length of stitch, number 4, zigzag width, and then number 3 for my tension, but every machine is going to be different. So now that I've tested out my stitch and I know everything, how it's going to work, I'm going to very carefully just do a straight stitch around that circle. Got a straight stitch all the way around, and now I'm going to come in and do a zigzag on the outside of that line. So now I've removed the pin, so you can probably see it more clearly here, how I've just zigzagged around that circle. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my pattern in half, and I'm just going to create a little cut in the middle of the circle. And I'm cutting it right to where I've made that straight stitch. Like so, so you've got all your little multi-cuts, and then we're just going to trim. So you can see I've cut all those little pieces out. You're going to take your liner and you're going to poke it through the hole and pull the liner out the other side. Up with something like this, and you're going to have to put it down and flatten it out. End of your scissors. And then you could just really use the end of your scissors to flatten that out. So you can see it's finished on the inside and it's finished on the outside. I've pinched it a little bit so that the edges aren't 100% lined up. But like I said, this is just, it's a functional piece. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect. So at this point, I line up my pattern the best that I can, and if things become a little bit misaligned, then I just come in and trim it. So there you go. I just trim it up and make it as even as I can. 2 pieces pinned together, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to zigzag right along, sewing these pieces together. I'm not hemming them, or I'm not doing anything fancy. So you can see that I've just sewn the 2 pieces together just by doing a zigzag. And you can come back and just trim these up a little bit, the edges if you want. It's not the end of the world. Come in and trim, and then very neatly trim up those edges. So now we've got our 2 pieces. This is the outside, and this is the inside. Now that we've got our diaper sewn in one solid piece, now we're gonna have to add the straps that wrap around the back of the dog. So basically, I've just measured around my dog's tummy where the diaper is going to sit, and I got 21 inches. So I just measure the inside of the diaper is 13 inches. I want 21 to actually make it all the way around. So I've just cut a band with scrap material, and this is 4 inches wide, and it's about 12 or 13 inches long. And then all I'm going to do is fold it over, and I'm going to zigzag all the way around. I'm not even going to hem it. Like that. So I've just sewn it all the way around, then and cut it. So now I've got my 2 ends for my diaper. So these are an extension of the front part of the diaper that's going to wrap as the waistband. And then all I did, I just trimmed up that edge so that I can fit my straps right onto it, and then I'm going to be able to sew them in place. This, And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to trim it. Looks like that. So now we've got our waistband in place. To overlap it on his back, like so, which means we need a Velcro here. But we also need Velcro all the way across the back and on the inside of the diaper, because we're going to Velcro it in place like this. Now next we want to use a little bit of elastic, and we're going to use a little bit on the front, and we're going to use a little bit on the legs. And this just adds, obviously, for stretch and comfort for the dog. So this is 1/4" elastic band. It's very soft and gentle. It's just there to cup. It's not there to really create any great tension. So I've taken my 4" elastic and I've just put it right in the center. And then so I just grabbed it and stretched it until it was just a nice give, so I can see how much is going to pleat. And now this is my starting point to start sewing, and I can remove this. So you can see I've got it lock stitched here, and I've pinned it on the opposite side, and now I'm going to hold it like this and just sew it on a zigzag. I've got that elastic. It's evenly spaced, and you've got this little pucker in the front, which is going to hold the pad. You've got the little extension for your male dogs, which also is going to hold the pad. And if you turn it around, it's going to look like this. So now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to add elastic to the 2 sides of the legs. Now you can see we've got nice elastic around both legs. Now there isn't a 3" overlap, which is too much. It should really only be 2 inches. But rather than cutting my waistband shorter and sewing it, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at the 3 inches. So what I've done is I've got some Velcro, and I got this Velcro from the dollar store. It's self-wrapping Velcro, so it works really easy. So on the inside of the pants, I've added a piece of Velcro the full length of the back of the diaper, and this is the soft side of the Velcro. And then I'm also going to take the left side of the band on the inside. So this is the inside of the diaper. I'm running Velcro all along the back, which is the soft side. On the left side of the waistband, I'm running Velcro all along this band, and this is the soft side. Around to the outside, and we're going to be adding the rough side of the Velcro to both bands. Come on, turn around, Michelle. Got a little tail in there. Whoop. Come on over here. Well, looks good.